So today we're going to be building this Harley Benton Les Paul DIY guitar kit. Stay tuned. Yes, good people, welcome back to the Guitar Manifesto channel. So today I'm going to be building this Harley Benton Les Paul kit guitar. I bought this at the very end of last year for £55. I got this off a guy called Damien who lived just down the road. I got him down to £55. It was a kit that was brand new. He didn't get a chance to build it, so I took it off his hands. Now at the minute on Thomann's website, these are £75 plus £8 shipping. You get everything you need in the kit for a Les Paul, sort of your standard Les Paul setup. You get 2 humbuckers, you get the wiring loom, you get all the hardware, connectors, tuners, you get the lot, Tune-O-Matic bridge. I did a previous video, I put a link in the corner and a link in the description just to show you what, detail of the kit and the quality of it. But yeah, it looks like a pretty decent kit. It's got a Rengus wood body, feels nice, and it is quite a hefty weight to it. I will weigh the guitar once I've fully built it so you know how much it weighs in total. But originally my plans with the body finish were to stain it, but having built the Jazzmaster kit that was over my shoulder, these Harley Benton kits straight out the box come with like a wood seal coating on. Now if you want to do a stain finish you need to sand that off, and it is quite a laborious task, and I don't really fancy doing it again. So what I think I'm going to do with this eventually is just paint it, because these are ready to be painted on. So primer, put your colour on, top coat, you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the kit literally as is, straight out the box, put it all together, play it, see what I think to it, and then we'll come back in a later video. I'll take it all apart, I'll paint all the body, I'll paint the neck. I'm not sure what colour I'm going to do it yet, so comments below. I want to keep it sort of a simple finish, and then we'll probably upgrade some of the parts on it depending what needs doing and what have you. But yeah, I'm going to use all the standard parts. I'm going to use the standard strings that come with it, just so you get an idea straight out the box what these sound like once you've built them. So the next thing we should do is start assembling it. So in the kit you get the wiring harness. This is all plug and play, there's no soldering required. So I'm going to take it all apart and see what we've got. So that's your three-way selector switch. You've got a you've got one big main harness which is all taped together, which has got your pots, your volume control, your output jack. You've even got the ground wire there for the bridge. So I think what we need to do is flip the guitar, and then the pickups also got a plug and play harness on them, so it should be nice and simple to put together. So we're going to flip it over, and you need to work out what pickups what, because they are colour coded. So the one with a thick surround will be your bridge pickup, the one with a thin one will be your neck pickup, and these pole pieces should be sort of facing away from each other, so you kind of know what you're doing with it. And then the three-way selector switch obviously goes in that little cavity. So I think what we'll do first of all is just feed the main pot harness through, which is just inside there. You can pass that through. So with that harness going through the body, you need to pull it out by the little selector switch there, and then what we're going to do is screw down all the volume and tone pots. So in terms of which ones are for what, I guess it don't really matter. It all depends when you connect up your three-way selector switch. Just make sure the holes closest to the bottom are the ones that are going to be for your bridge pickup, the ones at the top are going to be for your neck pickup. So to assemble your volume tone pots, you get one of these little washers which goes on the tone control first. Put that on, feed it through, then you put a washer on, then you put a nut on. Simple as that. So we've got the tone and volume pots all screwed down now. Next job is to get the output jack. There's a little hole just there. you feed that through. There's a nut and a washer on there. Take the nut and the washer off, and then from the outside you need to feed it through the little plate there. Put the nut and washer back on while it's on that side, and then screw this little plate into the pre-drilled holes there, and then that's the output jack done. So stand in the back, we get this little ground wire. There should be a little hole just there inside the cavity. We feed that wire through, and that will go to one of your stop tail piece holes. Feed that through and pull that all the way through, and a little bit later on we'll strip some more cable off that and we'll push it back in, and when you go to put your stop tail piece in, that'll be your ground for that. Alright, next job, it's going to be putting the pickups in. So the smaller one, you want these little screws towards the top of the guitar, towards the neck, and then these ones towards the base of the guitar. That's kind of how they sit. What we need to do now is feed these cables through into that little cavity where the pots are, and then we'll screw the pickups in. So just make sure you got that fed through. And screw them down. Then we screw them in with these longer screws. There should be 8 of them. So just make sure your holes all line up before you fully screw the screws right into the body. So one pickup in, and we do the same with the neck pickup. Just make sure that feeds all the way through that cavity. So you've got 2 wires that you fed through from the pickups. Your red one's your bridge, your black one's your neck. Your lower volume tone control you want for your bridge, your upper volume tone control you want for your neck. So pretty straightforward which ones to connect. So next we've got the 3-way selector switch, so we want to undo that nut and washer before we start anything. Get that out of the way. So on the Les Paul, up is usually the neck pickup, down is the bridge, so we've got to bear that in mind when we connect the wiring. Usually the wiring's back to front, so if you want the neck pickup up, it means it's the bottom connector that will be for the neck, and vice versa. Be the top connector for the bridge, if that makes sense. So just remember that when you're putting it in, and yeah, inside out, upside down, that kind of thing. So the way I've got mine wired up is the grey one is the bridge, the grey wire, and the red wire is the neck pickup, and then you got a black one which is just the middle position. Bit complicated, but if you get a bit stuck when you string it all up and when you're testing it all out, you can easily remove this cover and just swap the cables over. So I'm just going to connect all that up, and then we'll screw it into the body. So while I'm at this stage, I'm just going to quickly check through the electrics. I know it's not grounded yet, so you may get a bit of buzzing, but you can make sure you get everything wired in right. So at the minute this is set to neck pickup, so the bridge shouldn't be working. Middle should be both. Down should be just the bridge. And also you can check your pots are working. So now we know our electrics are all good. I'm going to put in the 3-way selector switch, so just remember when you've got it toggled up, that's your neck pickup. So feed that through. You get this little cover, rhythm and treble. You get a washer, and you get your nut, and tighten that up. So with all the electrics now finished, we can get these 2 back covers on, and that's a job done on that part. So I'm just stripping a bit more wire off that grounding cable, twist it in. It's going to feed this wire back through, but you just want that metal piece exposed, so when you put the bridge piece in, it's making a nice contact with the bridge. the stop tail piece, which are these parts. So you've got 1, 2, and then you've also got your pneumatic bridge. So that's the stop tail piece, that goes on there. And you've also got your pneumatic bridge, and they're the pieces for that. So we do exactly the same with that, line them all up. Then we give them a gentle tap down with a hammer, and then they are done. Make sure you remove these parts first, you're just left with the base of them. Give them a gentle tap in. Just make sure there's no little gaps underneath and that they're fully seated. And then we screw these parts back in for your stop tail piece and your pneumatic bridge. Now these ones that go in your pneumatic bridge, they adjust the height of the bridge. The stop tail piece ones, they adjust how much tension you want in the strings. So the further down into the body it is, the more tension you get, which I like on these. So you get them in. So usually with a pneumatic bridge you have the screws facing that way, like that, and then your tail piece goes on the bottom there. Let's raise it up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So this is what your strings go through, go in that way, come out that way. But for now, take them off, leave them out of the way, because if you're messing around with the guitar, these are going to come off with no strings on, you may cause a bit of damage. I'm just going to quickly put the volume tone control pots on. I like to have volume turned up full, and always like the number 10 sort of facing that way towards me, so I can see how loud we are. So next up we've got the pickguard. Some people like to leave these off. I personally don't mind them on or off, I ain't really bothered. So you have one little screw that goes in there, and then you've got this hole there and a little hole just in the side of the body. So the hole in the side of the body is just there, that's for your bracket to screw in that way. And on the pickguard you've got a hole there, you've got this adjustable slider bracket, so you get your little bolt, feed that through, you get a little nut, tighten that on. Just do it sort of hand tight, it don't need to be massively too over tightened. And these, you may have a bit of a fight with the surrounds on the pickups, so you get that one in. Tighten it down, and then these are kind of like adjustable, so line that up. Okay, and just give that a little tweak. So there you go, that's the pickguard on. All the volume tone control pots are done. We've got the three-way selector switch in, got all the covers on the back. Looking like a Les Paul now, so what I'm going to do is start on the neck. Right, so next up we're doing the tuners. You've got 3 on each side, so you have like a left and a right side. Just make sure you get the right one for the right side. Obviously there's pre-drilled holes in the back which line up with them holes. So what we need to do first of all is put the tuner in, drop a washer over it, and then just tighten that little 10mm nut up. Just do it sort of hand tight, and then flip it over. You get these little, skinny screws. You tighten them in. Just make sure your tuner's nice and straight. Don't over tighten these because you may snap the head. Right, and then once that's on, get a 10mm spanner or socket and then just give it a little tweak, not too tight, and that's it on. And then just repeat that for all 6. So that's the tuners fitted. We've also got a truss rod cover to put on yet, but I'll put that on last once I've set the guitar up and put strings on and what have you, because we need to have access to that. So just leave that off for now. Next thing we need to do is put the neck onto the body, and yeah, we're good to put strings on. Right, so now we're at the point where we can put the neck on. So just line the screws up so the neck just slides straight into the neck pocket. Just make sure everything's lined up. And I've left these 2 screws on the neck pickup loose just in case I need to make any adjustments. This is one tight fitting neck, and that's it. So on the back, just make sure your holes all line up, make sure your neck pocket looks good, and then what we do is you get the neck plate and we get the screws, and I like to put these finger tighter first just to make sure everything goes in okay, and then we'll fully tighten down the screws. Just make sure that the screws are going in nice and easy and it ain't chewing into some wood or anything like that, and always use a hand screwdriver, don't use power tools. Right, so I've got all 4 screws in, but I don't fully tighten them down yet. Just want to make sure, again, everything looks good, everything's straight, and then we fully tighten them down. So it's starting to look like a Les Paul guitar now. So we get the bridge, get the screws facing the back of the guitar, and then we get the tailpiece, slide that over. Again, I like the screws on these fully down. The next job I'm going to do is fit some strings. Now, I built a Harley Benton Jazzmaster kit guitar recently, which is basically the same setup as this. In terms of setup, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing on that. So if you want to see how to set one of these up, I'll put a link in the corner and a link in the description. Just a basic set. I'm going to put the strings on, we're going to adjust the truss rod, make sure there's a bit of relief in it, then we'll sort out the action, the intonation, but it'll all be shown in that video, so be sure to check that out. But I'm going to do that, and the next thing we'll do is put the truss rod cover on, which is just 3 screws, and then we'll put on the strap buttons. So you get the strap button, you get a little felt washer, which I've just thrown. So for the strap buttons, just get the actual strap button itself, you get a little felt washer, and you get these longer screws, feed it through, and then tighten her in, and she's good to go. Right, so we're fast forwarding a couple of days now. So I put some strings on, I gave the guitar a set up, put a little bit more relief in the neck, set the action, set the intonation, tuned it back up, and she did play pretty nice. Like I say, I left it for a couple of days. I like the wood to settle in a bit after building the guitar, or if ever I replace the neck and I do a good setup, I like to let it sit just to, you know, see how well it holds up. But yeah, it holds tune well, it plays nice, it did set up really good. My first impressions of this kit, it is a pretty decent kit actually. It's the sound of these pickups sort of sounds like a Les Paul should. It feels nice to play. The neck is like a C profile, but it's not a chunky neck. It weighs about 3.8 kilos in total, so it's not a little lightweight guitar. And I'm actually quite digging the finish on this, natural. So yeah, I may stick with that. Do I paint it or keep it like that? Let me know in the comments, but I quite like it. But we'll definitely come back and do something with the colour at that neck. But yeah, I'm quite happy how the guitar is. For £55 what I paid for this, and they're only 75 quid new plus shipping, it is a pretty decent Les Paul. I'm really impressed. But in terms of the electrics, there is a little bit of buzzing on them. You know, it's cheap wiring, plug and play. Only notice it when you've got like a distortion pedal on. If you're not touching it, it does buzz a bit, but you know, there's something we can fix. I will come back to this and do another video where we'll go through all the issues and we'll fix them. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how it is. So what we're going to do now, I've got a backing track lined up. I'm just going to be concentrating on that bridge pickup, just to give you a general idea what it sounds like, because, you know, to be honest, most people do use the bridge pickup, but it does sound nice in all the positions. So yeah, I've got a backing track I'm going to play to today. I'm going to play a mixture of clean and distorted stuff. I'll be using a Boss DS2 and a flashback delay pedal for the lead stuff. So just give you a general idea of what it sounds like. So I reckon the next thing we should do is plug her in and let her rip. So there you go, that was the Harley Benton Les Paul DIY guitar kit, 75 quid brand new. I picked this up for 55 quid, new, unused, so absolute steal of a guitar. For a cheap Les Paul, I definitely recommend getting one of these. If you're not used to building guitars or messing with electrics and stuff, I always say a kit guitar is a good way to, you know, get you started. But yeah, there's no sharp frets on this, nothing like that. The fingerboard plays really nice. It feels like a Les Paul should. The pickups sound pretty decent. Maybe if you change the pots out, the wire in, put some different caps in, you could bring these to life a bit more. But yeah, we'll see. The hardware's good. The tuners are okay. In this workshop, it does get quite hot, quite cold. So I've had a little bit of trouble with it going out of tune. But you know, stretch your strings, and it should be okay. But if you want to use it for more regular things, probably upgrade the tuners. The nut seems okay. Just a decent quality kit. Again, for the price, awesome guitar. So that'll probably do for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, enjoyed watching the build video, and stay tuned for more videos on this. And if you haven't seen the Harley Benton Jazz Master kit guitar built, there's a video for that as well, so be sure to check that out on my channel. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell, hit your notifications to all so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos. If you want to see me make another kit guitar, let me know what you'd like to see in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to check them out. Also follow me on Instagram, the Guitar Manifesto, and that'll do for today. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all very soon. Peace out.